If you're looking for a video that will give you a surefire way of adding 6 inches to your penis, you are most definitely watching the wrong video. I'm not sure what about the title or the thumbnail made you think that this video would have anything close to that. I am not a penis expert, and I really do apologize for giving you that impression. But anyways, enough about penises. Today we're going to be looking at the top 5 most iconic video game villains. This isn't necessarily based on who is the best villain or who is the most difficult to defeat while playing the video game. This is more based on the iconic status of said villain, name recognition, commercial appeal, things of that nature. Villains that have kind of crossed over and not just entertained children, but also big giant grown adults with squirrel looking mustaches and hairy backs and hairy ass cheeks. And this goes without saying, but I feel like I should still say it because I know there will be people out there raging, smashing their keyboards, trying to figure out why I chose certain villains over others. These type of lists are subjective and they're mostly based on my personal opinion. Most people from planet Earth will agree with me. However, there will be certain individuals that might have come from galaxies far, far away that will have just differentiating points of view, and I welcome that. Let me know in the comment section what your guys' top 5 most iconic villains of all time are, and I'll tell you guys why you're wrong. But anyways, let's get straight into it. Let's start off with number 5. And yes, we will be talking about a giant purple pixelated dragon because our number 5 is the Ender Dragon from Minecraft. And as of this recording, we're only about a week away from the Ender Dragon's 11th birthday, as he was created by Notch way back in 2011. It was a welcome addition to a video game that basically consisted of pixelated creatures going around punching blocks of dirt basically, and crafting a bunch of useless nonsense. If you guys have been keeping up with the Minecraft updates, you will be well aware that the last update included being able to have camels in the video game. I'm not sure, like I said, who's clamoring for that, but just to give you guys an example of what's been going on in the Minecraft universe, it's been almost over 10 years since we got an iconic boss. The Ender Dragon will live, or I guess die, in infamy. Most of us big giant Minecraft users are still waiting for an update where we can actually officially ride an Ender Dragon. I know there might be some modded versions of the game that allow you to do that, but I'm talking about an all-out update from Notch where we can maybe tame one of these Ender Dragons. Am I the only one tired of riding around on pigs and then eventually cooking them into bacon? For number 4, we're gonna have Dr. Robotnik, aka Eggman. I know this isn't a joke, I'm being legitimately serious here. This video game character probably hasn't been able to see his penis for years for how large he is. It's almost hysterical that out of shape doctor is always chasing one of the fastest hedgehogs we've ever seen. And by the way, yes, I did air quotations when I said doctor, only to realize that I don't actually have a camera in front of me, so I did air quotations like a total noob. But Dr. Eggman has been a mainstay in the gaming universe now for about 30 years. And a fun little fact for those of you guys that don't know this, he originally has always been Dr. Eggman. There's a rumor going around that he was supposed to be Dr. Robotnik and then eventually got the nickname Eggman, but that's actually false. Once the West got a hold of the video game, they're the ones that decided to actually name him Dr. Robotnik, but his name was always supposed to be Dr. Eggman. So regardless of whether you are a big fan of the franchise as a whole or not, you have to admit that this guy, no, not that guy, I mean this guy is definitely one of the more well-known villains in the gaming community. Number 3 was a really difficult one for a number of reasons, primarily just because almost every single one of the villains, air quotations again around the word villains, but every single one of the enemies or the big boss fights that you have in the Shadow of the Colossus could have easily made the list, but we're gonna go with the final one, and that is Malice. The game is absolutely breathtaking and beautiful, from the scenery to the way that these big giants move and the way that you take them down. The video game as a whole isn't very upfront. There's a lot of subtlety that you have to pick up on, and I feel like the story would only be really truly appreciated by mostly mature gamers. All of the Colossus play off as somewhat of a puzzle, like you have to decipher them, figure out how it is that you take them down. And Malice is absolutely no different. He might be one of the more challenging ones, but as a whole, every single one of these giants leaves an absolutely lasting impression on every gamer that completes the entire quest. Some of these do come out a little bit aggressive and try to attack you, but most of these giants are peaceful and are just merely existing. They're not really causing you any harm. There's a bittersweet satisfaction every time you defeat one of these enemies, and I feel the deeper you go into it, if you have a conscience, you will definitely have tears streaming down your face. You will more than likely be eating your own runny mucus. I feel like if you weren't emo before starting this game, after finishing it, you will most likely become one. But towards the end of the game, the guilt is just going to eat you up. Every single one of these colossi is going to weigh on you, and I think that's one of the main reasons why these quote-unquote villains will remain in your memory bank for quite some time. For number 2, we have none other than Ganondorf himself. Let's be brutally honest, if you were a young kid playing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, you have absolutely no idea what's going on. You spend most of your time trying to play a little flute and running around with chickens over your head. But the more you've grown up, the more you've matured, you've really understood how great of a masterpiece most of the Zelda games were. And Ganon has really earned his reputation as one of the greatest villains out there. Ganon is pretty much basically the source of darkness within this universe. Even though he mostly started as just a big giant villain for Link to battle, I think as the franchise has progressed, he's gotten a little bit more of a backstory. It is eventually revealed that he is basically immortal. No matter how many times he dies, he will always reincarnate. The Triforce of Power also makes him an incredibly difficult foe for Link. Not to mention, he's actually incredibly knowledgeable when it comes to sorcery. The dude actually had an entire sword in his chest, but still did not die. He is as menacing as a villain can get. We eventually saw him make his debut in the Smash Bros. Universe, where he is definitely a masterful character and even in some groups considered one of the most OP options in the game. Moving on to the top spot, as if there was any doubt what the number 1 most iconic villain was going to be, yes, it is Bowser. The dude's obsession with Princess Peach was kind of funny and a little bit comical at the beginning, but now after like 30 years of him doing this repetitively, I think the dude definitely deserves to be in one of the top spots. He is constantly taking over the Mushroom Kingdom and just absolutely wreaking havoc. On top of kidnapping Peach, he's also been known to kidnap some Yoshis and some of their eggs. How evil must you be to kidnap some cute looking baby Yoshis? The villainy here is real. And just to add another level of weirdness slash evilness, in Super Mario Sunshine, Bowser actually insinuates to Bowser Jr. that Peach is his mother. Wink wink. I find it difficult to believe that Peach was able to withstand all that beautiful charm coming from that big giant spiky turtle. We also have the new film coming out very soon, which I've mentioned before, talked about in a previous video, which will be headlined by, actors like Chris Pratt and Jack Black. Regardless, I do believe he is the most iconic, most heinous villain of all time, with the side of creepiness. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. I'm very interested to see what your take on this list is. What is, in your opinion, the most iconic villain of all time? Let me know in the comment section, guys. Stay safe as always. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.